Hello and welcome to today's episode of Tax Matters. My name is Pearl Namaka and with me is
Chiamaka Ohaochi.
From time to time, the FIRS goes to town, meeting with stakeholders, taxpayers, prospective taxpayers, sometimes even school children. The aim? To sensitize taxpayers and prospective taxpayers alike to their duties, their rights and obligations under the various tax legislations in Nigeria.
On Saturday, the 26th of January, the FIRS was at it again. The event was the 2019 edition of TECHPOINT BUILD, organized by TECHPOINT Africa, a leading media platform dedicated to startups, entrepreneurship, innovation and technology in Africa.
Specifically, the FIRS team led by Mrs. Angel Fadaunsi of the Federal Engagement and Enlightenment Tax Teams, who stood in for the executive chairman, addressed the SME clinic with a view to bringing startup entrepreneurs up to speed with regard to their duties, their obligations and their rights under the tax laws.
Now, we know how important tax has become in Nigeria. There used to be a time when Nigeria used to be a very anyhow place. I mean, it's still not where it's supposed to be, but things are getting a lot better, right? The taxman's noose is getting very close around the neck of businesses. And this means that you have to know more than basic about taxes. And the next person I'm going to call is going to be talking to us on a guide to tax compliance for SMEs, and her name is Angel Fadaunsi.
FIRS is expected to be the mainstay of the nation. For FIRS, our job is to make sure that taxes are collected to sustain the nation. This government's focus is to move from a dependence on oil to non-oil. And you guys here represent a big sector in the non-oil, so we really need your money. So collaborate with us, we'll work with you to get our taxes from you. So why should you pay taxes? First and foremost, it's the law. You have to pay your taxes, right? It's stated clearly, and there are penalties for not paying. Yeah? And we need your taxes to develop the nation. You can't develop a nation without taxes. It's hard. People need to start to have responsibility and contribute to the development of their nation. Yeah? So the provision of social amenities, roads, security, police, army, justice, hospitals, all those things. We need those things to function as a nation. So that's why we need taxes to sustain those things. There are penalties. If you do not register, you have penalties. If you do not pay, there are penalties. If you pay late, there are penalties. So please avoid this and comply. Do what you need to do. But there are also benefits to paying your taxes. Lots of you are looking for people to invest in your businesses. One of the key things people look out for is this company tax compliant? Or is it that after I've invested a lot of money in them, government is going to come and shut them down? So please, if you're starting a business, please, 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 make sure you're tax compliant so that it doesn't come and trip you up later on in your business career or in your business flow. So what do you have to do? Register you as a taxpayer, right? To get your tax identification number. I'm sure you've been seeing TIN is free, right? It's free. If you want your tax identification number, you're not expected to pay anything for it. In fact, if you're here and you have a limited liability company and you don't know your tax identification number, before we leave here today, you can get that information from us. Some of us register a company believing something is happening. Sometimes it takes a while. Please send a letter to us to say, I've registered my company, I have not started a business. All right? So that we know. Because what happens is you register a company with CAC. We have a link with CAC, so we see that company. And we assume that you are doing business until you correct us. So in our minds, you're owing us something until you write to us to say, I've not started business. So please do that. Keep records. So if you buy a computer, you buy diesel, you pay staff. Those are business expenses. Please keep records. It's amazing how those 1,000 naira, they mount up. Yeah? Keep records as much as possible. Have receipts, have a cash book, whatever you want to call it. Keep track of your expenses because when you prepare your financial returns, you need some of those expenses to reduce your tax liability. Then, in Nigeria, we run what we call a self-assessment regime. And what that means is that we trust you. Nigeria trusts you, that you will not lie to us. Prepare your accounts, estimate your tax, write out a check, fill out the forms, and come to us and say, this is what I believe my taxes are. We believe in you. We leave you to declare what your profit is. And because tax is a percentage of profit, we ask you to fill the forms and do the right thing. So you go to the bank and pay. Please do not pay cash at any of our offices. Let me say this and say this again. Please do not pay cash at any of our offices. You go to the bank, you fill the teller, you make your payment, you hold your proof. Please. Yeah? Then you do what we call file returns. So there are two aspects to tax compliance. You file returns, you make payment. And sometimes you may not even make payment because you may not have made profit. So if for many startups, first 2-3 years, you don't make profit. That's okay. But let us know. Because the assumption on our side is you are making profit, you're in business. But you may not make profit. Make your financial returns for the year and file it with us. Just send it to us with the cover letter. That way, so work with your accountant and do that on an annual basis. That will prevent you from falling into trouble because you must file returns. Even if you have nothing to pay, you must file returns. Yeah? And once you've done that, really, you've complied. And so this is keeping it at a very basic level because many of your businesses are still small and growing. Very, very basic.
On value-added tax.
Value-added tax is a specific tax that is on goods and services. So if you sell laptops, you're expected to charge your customer 5%. Yeah? You become an agent for the federal government. You collect that 5% from the person and remit it to us. That's what value-added tax is all about. Either goods or services. You provide ICT services to a company. When you charge them, you also charge an additional 5%. That 5% is not yours. It's ours. You're expected to charge it, collect it, and remit it to us. Okay? There are some items that are exempt. Medical items, baby food, educational items, and there's a whole list of those ones. Once you're providing goods and services, you're expected to pay value-added tax. And how it works is every month, you must file returns for value-added tax. So if all your sales for the month, or say this is January now, so your sales in December, all the sales you made in December, you have up to 21st of January to file the returns and make payment.
Do you provide goods and services? Then you must answer these important questions. Are you registered for VAT? Do you charge VAT on the goods and services you provide? Do you keep records of all your transactions? Do you file VAT returns? Do you remit VAT collected to government coffers? If your answer to any of these questions is no, then you are breaking the law. The law demands total compliance. Therefore, you must register for VAT. You must charge VAT on goods and services. You must file VAT returns. And you must remit all VAT collected on behalf of government within 21 days to the bank nearest to you. To do otherwise is a crime punishable everywhere in the world. VAT is prescribed by the law. Do the right thing. Collect and pay VAT. This message is from the FIRS. It pays to pay your tax.
On withholding tax.
Withholding tax is just very simple. It's an advance payment of income tax, whether personal income tax or company income tax. If we wait for you to go the whole year running your business without making any tax payment, government might not be able to function. So what government does is to request that certain types of transactions, a certain amount is taken from them, yeah? And it ranges, withholding tax ranges, depending on the nature of the business. It will take a certain percentage. So for example, you have a company and you're providing services to, let's say you are providing services to Landmark, you have a cleaning company, you provide services to Landmark. They will hold back a withholding tax for cleaning services 5%. So they will hold back 5% of your tax and remit on your behalf using your tax identification number, which is why it's important to have it. If you don't have it, that means it just goes into the air and remit on your behalf. At the end of the year, you already have certain amount paid ahead for you by your various jobs, which you can use to offset your tax liability. Similar to VAT, you must file it on the 21st. If you're the company that is withholding, you must file on the 21st.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, waiting be this.
The deduction now for withholding tax.
Withholding guinea. Look, if you no pay me my correct money today, hey, Munu get me half for.
But madam, should be your company paying income tax.
Yes, that one na enough load for me to carry. Why na one come add join am again?
You see, withholding tax now advance payment for income tax. So when you do some kind job like contract, we go remove small from am when we won't pay you.
And una go contract am up. No. I bet tell me another.
No. We must pay the money to FIRS and they go give us withholding tax credit note to take show say you don't pay part of your income tax in advance.
So?
Now to help make the money where you go pay at the end of the year small.
So this withholding tax something, it be like part payment of no.
Exactly, madam.
I beg you, give me my check.
Remember, come collect your credit note.
Withholding tax now for we own good. FIRS, it pays to pay your tax.
So what we're trying to do in FIRS is to make it easier for businesses to pay. This is a tech session. So one of the things we're doing in FIRS is to improve our ICT options for you. So we have things like e-filing, e-tax clearance, e-registration. We have different services. Internally, we have buying software to make our services more efficient for you and easier for you to operate. We also have a team we call FIT, which is my team. If you look around, you see people in red, white, and gray t-shirts, right? And sometimes you may have seen them on the streets of Lagos, nationwide. What they do is they walk around and provide tax information, flyers, brochures, different kinds of things, advice, support. We also go around to events like this to provide the same services, right? If you have a big event, you can call on us to come in and help talk to people all for free.
The attentive audience thereafter fired questions at Mrs. Fadaunsi.
Sometime last year, I wanted to open a business account. They asked me for my TIN number. Yes. I don't have it, and I was asking the person, how do I go about getting it? So they said I should go to VI and pay. Because I didn't know how to go about the thing, I didn't bother opening the account last month. So
you want to know how to get your TIN number?
How to get the TIN, and how much am I expected to pay for that?
What sort of business do you have? Is it limited liability or an enterprise? Enterprise. Okay, so if you have the details of your business here, we can check in the system to see if it is already generated. If it's already generated, we can give it to you. If it is not, then we can tell you how to generate it and where to go. So please see us before you leave, right? But please do not pay anybody. You're not meant to pay.
Do people who register as a business owner have access to get the TIN? Then, secondly, I want to know how quickly can we start paying tax? Or is there a time frame that is being given to business owners to first like run their business, then start making?
So, if you register as a business name, right, enterprise, if you register that and you are dealing in items that attract value-added tax, then you must register and you must get a TIN for your value-added tax. Value-added tax goes for goods and services. So if you're rendering services that are not exempt, then you must register and pay VAT to us, that's FIRS, then you pay your personal income tax to the state where you're resident. So yes, if you are running a business, so if you're running a business that sells children's clothes, for example, yeah, an enterprise, you have a small shop, where you don't need to register for VAT. Your items are not expected to be VATable. In terms of a grace period, for value-added tax, there's no grace period. Once you start making money, give us our own money, because value-added tax, you are charging, right? You are charging a customer an additional 5% on your sales price. So you need to pay value-added tax immediately.
Immediately I register with CS, is it that I will automatically start paying tax, or is there a scalable reference where I could start paying? And my second question is, for instance, I'm starting a business now and I'm not generating enough money yet. Can I get grace in order to pay back? Grace period. Yeah, grace period.
Okay. Tax is paid on profit. Yeah, so company income tax is paid on profit. So if you make 10 million naira profit, or a million naira profit, right? The law says you pay probably about, I think, between 20 and 30%, depending on some factors, of that as profit. So that's why I was telling you earlier that you must keep record of your transactions, yeah, to be sure that your profit is actually profit. A lot of businesses don't know when they are making profit or when they're making loss. Tax is not paid, it's not something you pay when you feel like. Tax is taken on, company's income tax is charged on your profit. So that's why you must keep records. Many of us run businesses and don't keep records. Yeah, we need to buy fuel for our cars, we buy fuel, we don't have a receipt. Yeah, we bought a computer, we fixed the computer, somebody charged us 7K, you don't keep a receipt. You should. Those are business expenses. You really need to determine your profit. It's not just some random figure. You should know as a business how much you're making and keep track and pay a percentage of the profit. So if you don't make profit, yeah, you're not expected to pay taxes. You're expected to just file a return to say, I made loss this year. This is how much I made loss. Now, we also have what we call minimum tax, because we find that some people will be running businesses for 4 or 5 years and saying, wow, we didn't make profit. So we say, okay, pay a minimum amount of X towards your tax liabilities. But if you are making loss and you have properly documented the losses and filed returns with your accountant, then you're not expected to pay tax. What we ask you to do is file the return. Let us know, I didn't make profit, to declare it, okay? In terms of a grace period, for example, if you are selling and you're an enterprise and you're selling things, from the first day you start selling, if you charge value-added tax, it's our money, it's not your money. Immediately you sell it, please remit. So there's no grace period for value-added tax. There's no grace period for your company's income tax. So if you start a business in January, yeah, your year end is 31st December. You actually have 6 months, if I'm not mistaken, until June, before you must come and pay us. That's your last day. So you have January, February, March, April, May, June, 31st of June, before you must come and make payment for your company's income, the profit of the previous year. That's grace now.
You have the federal tax, the state, and even the local. So I want to know what are the type of remittance you made to all these 3 people? Because
today's program, I think, I saw somebody doing something about business planning, right? When you do your business plan, I really, really hope that you put, tax is something you must factor in. Many of you will factor in rent, Uber, internet services. Then you forget that taxes. You have to put it there. Something that is going for 30% of your, that's the top end, yeah, between 20 and 30%. You have to factor it into your business. And when whatever you're selling, you have to factor it. This is FRS now. We are looking at X amount of your profit, between 20 and 30%, depending on the nature of your business. Yeah? So at business planning time, you have to put number 1, taxes, federal taxes. Number 2, state taxes. Now, Lagos State, you want to put a signboard outside. I don't work for Lagos State, right? But I mean, we collaborate and I understand their business. You want to put a signboard outside, you pay to LASA, right? You want to do waste collection, you pay to Loma. Those are bills you must plan for. You can't say, people keep saying, oh, they tax us too much. These are taxes. If you want to start a business, you have to go and ask people in your line of business, please, what do they do? What other taxes do they? You may not, some of them are taxes and levies. Yeah? If you want to put a mast somewhere, yeah, there's a process. You must find out. You can't just wake up. Some people just wake up and pay for the shop first. They start working backwards like that. It doesn't work that way. You must find out from your colleagues and from others, what are the things for my particular line of business? What do I have to do? Local government has all sorts of rates, and I can't even. Every local government is different. They have their own liberty to fix their own rates, depending on. You have in the east. I hear somebody was telling me there's if you have a sewing machine, you must pay a certain amount per sewing machine in your shop. There's radio lights, all sorts of things at the local government level. Go and find out. You can go to the local government. What are all the levies? Which one applies to me? Before you start.
My question precisely, I work in a software and a technology company, and we write software and program. My question is directly to you on the e-tax. What's the legality for technology company like us if we develop a software, cloud-based, where our client wants to file their documentation, how could this sync to your platform?
If you develop software that helps, let's say, small businesses to file easily, all you have to do is write us, let us know your intention, yeah? At least you have to collaborate with us to a certain extent so that you want all those interfaces that you need and the technical details. We don't stand to lose. Actually, anything that makes it easier for us, we thank God, yeah? So there's nothing illegal as long as you go through the right process. It would be bad for you to start quietly on your own and just do it, and then it doesn't work well with us. There are some things you must come and collaborate. So I believe it's open. You can write. Say, we're doing this, we'd like to collaborate, and this is the information we need. This is the benefit to FRS. If you show us the benefit, why not?
I see a lot of people still raising hands, having plenty more questions. The FIRS has a stand outside. During the break period, which is in a few minutes, you can go to them and ask them any questions you want to ask. That's why they are there.
The exhibition booth of the FRS at that event was a beehive of activities. Questions were asked and answers were given.
Tax Matters spoke to the brains behind TECHPOINT Build.
We understand that this is the second edition of TECHPOINT Build. What is the idea behind TECHPOINT Build?
We started TECHPOINT Build because we are looking for a platform where businesses and startups can come offline beyond online to actually network and meet each other and actually learn and build businesses together. Learn from people that build businesses and that are building businesses and network as well. That's why we are doing TECHPOINT Build.
Are you achieving your objectives? If so, what is the level of response from your target audience?
So we are. Last year was amazing. The feedback was really awesome. A lot of small businesses came back and a lot of startups that were part of it. There were a lot of thank you messages coming that is impactful for them. And we just believe that if we could help like 20,000 SME or startups in the next 2 years, we can actually get them to employ more people and actually eradicate unemployment in Africa, because I believe and we believe that SMEs and small businesses, they are the solution to unemployment in Africa.
What can we look forward to in the nearest future from your organization?
So we have TECHPOINT Inspire coming up in June, and it's for West Africa, and then again we are hosting another TECHPOINT Build in East Africa, and so we have a lot of things set up for this year and the next years to come. So, but this year, just look out for our TECHPOINT Inspired in June 1st, and our East African program. Then go to the site as well, TECHPOINT.Africa. We do publication, education, and we educate everybody every day. So, amazing things lined up.
So you seem to consider tax and taxation so important to be included in the sessions. We even noticed that FIRS is exhibiting. Why?
Last year, when we organized TECHPOINT Build, that was the first edition, and we thought, okay, we could help small businesses around how they can build structure. But what we found out that last year was that there are a few things that were missing, or like that seemed like most businesses didn't know that were important. Things like finances, accounts, like whether it's accounting or how you track your finances, or even things like tax that they don't see that are important, right? Insurance too, yeah. And we felt, okay, this year we should add some of those things. Tax was one of the key things that we saw that was missing last year, because many businesses don't realize that, first of all, you must pay tax. I mean, if for any economy to grow, you pay tax. And the more SMEs are doing well and the more SMEs are paying tax, the better the economy should be, right? And even generally, there's always the danger of if you're not paying taxes, after a while, by law, your business could be shut down and you never know. So we just thought, okay, we should really educate people. Like, I mean, not us, we don't know much about tax. But we just thought, okay, it's very important to actually bring the FIRS on board to come and educate people on how they can be tax compliant and why they should be tax compliant. And that's why we brought the FIRS to exhibit and be on board.
So what would you consider to be the response or reaction of participants to the session on taxation?
I mean, it was really good. It showed that people are really struggling with that area. Also, it showed that many people are actually open to the idea of paying tax, but they just need to be clearer on why they should and how they should. So yeah, positive response in general.
We must say that for the FIRS, that event was familiar tough, talking about e-services, e-registration, e-filing, e-payment, e-stamp duty, e-receipt, and e-TCC.
Perhaps one little way to summarize everything is keep records, keep records, keep records.
And seek professional help. Like we always say, don't try to navigate the field by yourself. It can get murky. For that qualified tax professional, get in touch with the CITN.
Let's do this again next week on this same platform, same station, same day of the week, same time of the day.
Bye for now.